Okay, welcome back. I was just talking about in the previous video the importance and the necessity of evaluating leaders. My name is Brother Lewis, and I've been talking about corruption within leadership, no matter what the institution or the organization the leader happens to be in. And this information, or this video rather, is for informational and educational purposes only. I'm a part of the United House of Prayer for All People, and I've been engaging with the viewers, whoever may find this information interesting or of value. I've been talking about corruption within our organization, and even sharing with the individuals out in the viewing audience that if you find yourself in a situation or an organization or institution, a job, a work site, whatever the case may be, on even a team, and it looks like, feels like, sound like, seem like that there's some red flags within your leadership, how they're talking, the things that they're doing, the things that they're saying, how they go about doing those things, it would behoove you to begin to open up the door and ask questions. Document everything and politely ask questions, because you may help them keep them out of a world of trouble, and you may help the team as a whole become a better functioning team. This is what it is that we're talking about. I was talking about also in the last video the benefits of regular evaluations. Picking up there, increased employee retention is another benefit of regular evaluations. And I use the term employee, but you don't have to be an employee. Same thing when it comes to a family. If families are sitting down talking about different objectives and different goals that they're going after, it would increase the retention of those family members willing to be a part of those meetings or that project. If teams working together on something can get that something done efficiently, quickly, and everybody have fun doing it, and everybody's learning and growing while they're doing it, then I guarantee you a dime a dozen that they'll be willing to work together again. They'll be looking for more opportunities to work together. But if a team is working on a project and there's nagging and bickering and backbiting and backstabbing and gossip being spread on everybody and attacking and micromanagement, and nobody can get anything done right because people are telling them, no, it's not good enough, or you don't know what you're doing, or this, that, and the other. If it's just a subject matter of opinion, and you're telling people who full well know what they're doing, and problems occur, it's just a matter of time that team is going to disperse. They're not going to survive. Increased employee retention is a benefit of regular evaluations. And evaluation should be held at least once a year, minimum, for leadership roles. You don't want the people to become accustomed to evaluating their leaders, because that's a form, a way that they can eventually get to a point of disrespecting them or devaluing them. But you do want them a part of the process of evaluating and assessing their performance. That's good for the leader because it allows them to see how, in those people's eyes, it allows them to see how they're doing. They have an obligation to the people that they're serving over. In fact, let me say this. In the book of Mark, the 10th chapter of Mark, the 10th chapter of Mark, 42nd verse. But Jesus called them to him, and saith unto them, Ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. You know that those who are accounted to rule over the Gentiles, they exercise lordship, dominance over them. And their great ones exercise authority upon them. Their great ones exercise authority upon them. Everyone, including the ones who are put in rulership. Their great ones are the ones over the supervisors. But so shall it not be among you, Jesus said. But whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. They should be serving you. The greatest should serve the smallest. For that reason, Jesus humbled himself and washed the disciples' feet. Washed their feet. Some people think that this had spiritual significance. It does. It does. But let's look at the culture, the traditions. In those times, people were not wearing closed-toed shoes. They were not wearing shoes that wrapped and hugged the feet. They were wearing sandals. It was a piece of material that had holes around the edging with leather tassels or other types of tassels that go through the hole, and you tie it around the ankle to hold that sole, that piece under the feet, to protect the feet from whatever it is they're going to walk on. It is to protect the bottom of the feet. Eventually, they began to make sandals that had a flap on the front that came bent over the toes. And then that had holes, and they would tie back. And now at least your toes are protected. Your toes. The rest of your feet was open. So as a result of wearing sandals everywhere, they didn't have boots. There were no Timberlands. There was no tennis shoes. There was no high tops. Everybody had on sandals or something like sandals. But the problem is that your ankle and your feet was exposed to the elements. And they're not dealing with blacktop and concrete. You're dealing with dirt roads, rocky roads, exposed roads, dust everywhere. So as you're walking on a day-to-day basis or even throughout the day, your feet, your ankles, your legs are going to get dirty. In order to honor a person, if you're invited into someone's house, they wanted to honor you, they would have one of their servants. If they didn't have any servants, they'd have a house member, one of their family members. And they would bestow honor upon you by bringing some water and washing your feet. One, it felt good. But two, it made you look more presentable, because now your feet and legs are not caked with dirt and dust. They're now clean. And when you sit at the table or sit on the chair or wherever in the house, you don't have to worry about dusty, dirty feet and legs. So it was a way of honoring them. Now, if you're going to have one of your servants do this, you're not going to get the greatest servant. You're not going to get the head servant. You'll get the least servant. The servant that's doing the... Every job has what they refer to as entry-level positions, most every. You're not going to come in and serve in that capacity unless you apply for that and your background and your experiences suggest that you can very well do that job. But most people looking for a job, just getting out of school, you're looking for something that anybody can do. It's entry level. This job may not come with a lot of benefits, and those types of jobs serve a lot of people. Everybody don't need a benefit package. Everybody don't need an executive job. Everybody don't need... Some people just need a little bit of extra money. So they might go and get an entry-level job. I remember New Jersey. They still pump gas. You cannot pump your own gas in the state of New Jersey. You pull up to a gas station, somebody's going to pump it for you. Now, do you look down on the person pumping the gas? No. Some people pumping gas because they like to pump gas. Some people pumping gas because they just need a little extra money. That might be a lawyer. It might be a doctor. It might be a person earning $600,000, $700,000 a year or more. But they ran into an issue, or people losing their jobs right now, left and right, just to make a little bit of extra money, just to make ends meet. I'm gonna get an entry-level job. Listen, I just need the money. I don't need the benefits. I don't need. It's covered. Health insurance, all of that's covered. But a little extra money. Might even do it as an example for their child. $300, $400, $500 extra for that week, plus tips. The point of the matter is, you don't look down on them. And Jesus said, he that is greatest among you be that person's servant. So when you're looking at somebody washing the feet, you're not going to get the servant, the head of the house servant, the chief servant. You're going to get the entry-level servant. Listen, I got something else for you to do. Come and take care of our guests. Take care of the guests? Yes. Get a bowl of water. I need you to come and take care of the guests. We're going to wash their feet. Oh, certainly. I'll be right there. Get a towel. And while they're talking, they're just sitting there. Somebody comes and they're washing their feet. For some people, this might be embarrassing, because some people were taken as a bondman or a bondwoman. If they had a debt that they couldn't pay off, they would be ordered at times to work that debt off as a bondman or bondwoman, meaning that they become a servant of that person who they did not fulfill their the end of the deal by paying back their debt. Some people were wash dishes to pay off a meal. But it works out for both parties. Now, if you are a bondman or a bondwoman and friends of yours come from across town, or your family, and all of a sudden, some way, somehow, they're invited to the person's house that you're their bondman, working off debt, and they call you to come and wash. Oh, I got to go wash it. Oh, I didn't want them to know. But you have to do it. It's belittling. It's humbling. It's embarrassing. Well, Jesus took that role on himself to become this lowest, most humble, the meekest, the smallest, most insignificant role in that person's house. A bond, to wash the feet. To put himself in the role of a bond person. Not only did I not pay you back, but that suggests that I didn't have the money to pay you back, and now I got to work off my debt. It doesn't look good. It's embarrassing. You certainly don't want nobody to see that, see you doing that. Well, what are you doing here? It's a long story. Jesus did it willingly. As an example to the disciples, no matter how big, how great, how powerful you think you are, or other people think you are, you serve. I'm the begotten Son of God, and I've washed your feet. I'm sending you out with the one thing necessary to save the entire world. I don't want you to get big-headed. I want you to stay meek and humble, as the example that I've given. And I didn't give it to you for money. Freely you have received, he said. Freely give. You give your service if you serve me. You humble yourself. You belittle yourself. You come off that high horse and stay down there if you're going to serve me. He said, whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. The lowest role in that house, if you're washing the guest's feet, the likelihood is that you are the servant of everybody in that house, including other servants. If you're a bondman or a bondwoman, then you have to serve the servants who are not bondmen and not bondwomen. You're working off a debt. You're not even classified as a servant. You're a bondman. You got to serve everybody. And if you, Jesus said, whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of everyone. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered to, but to minister, and to not just minister, but to give his life a ransom for many. I'm not just going to do what David did. I'm not just going to go out there and fight and put my life on the line for Israel. No. I'm going to go out there for Israel. But I'm going to lay down my life, not just for Israel. I'm going to lay down my life for the enemies too. I'm not going to fight with sword. I'm going to drop the sword. And I'm going to tell them, I'm going to give you my life so that I can save you. And in giving you my life, I'm also going to save them, thereby bringing a true sense of peace to the entire world, because he gave his life for God's people, and he gave his life for God's people's enemies, making them and their enemies brothers and sisters in him, only for those who want it. When we talk about teams, leaders are examples. Evaluations will promote leaders to become better. It says a study by Gallup found that employees who receive regular feedback are more likely to stay with their company. Stronger company culture is another benefit of regular evaluations. Open feedback channels foster transparency and trust. It breeds transparency and trust, where your employees or your staff or the people on the team, they begin to trust each other. They begin to work better because they're not any longer suspicious of one another. They're not envious of each other. They're not jealous of one another. They're not backstabbing to try to take each other's positions or their titles or try to get anything that they have or anything that they don't. They work with one another, and everything that they're doing is transparent. There's no need or any reason to hide what they're doing, because they're not trying to do anything against you or towards you in any negative way, shape, or form. When employees, team workers see that their feedback leads to action, it builds a culture of continuous improvement where everything is constantly improving, constantly growing, constantly prospering. But when you have the opposite, when team workers, employees, staff, family members see that what they have to say is not valued, then productivity goes down. Performance goes down. Prosperity goes down. Moreover, regular evaluations can help identify potential issues before they escalate. allowing for proactive measures to be taken. This not only saves time and resources, but also contributes to a more positive work environment. If you, let's talk about the house of prayer. If we evaluate things on a regular basis, we can catch problems before it becomes a problem. We can identify issues before it becomes an issue. We can resolve a conflict before there is a conflict. No evaluations. What do you have? Nothing but problems. And not only is there no evaluations for the people or the team players, but no evaluations for the leaders. Best practices. If we ensure anonymity, anonymous feedback encourages honest responses without fear of repercussions. A lot of people don't say anything. Does this sound familiar? Amongst our people, our members don't say it. Some of y'all laughing right now. Some of you laughing because you know. You go out there if you want to. Go if you. A lot of people sit back and that was great. They sound like a bunch of cows because they don't want to say what's on their mind. They don't want the repercussion of the retaliation. They say, sound like cows. And anybody would tell you, don't you? Anonymity should be absolutely essential for people to provide information anonymously in order for reports to be reported honestly. If there's something called a whistleblower clause. You see, people need to know this stuff. If you have a whistleblower clause in an employee handbook, that's one of the best things for your organization, because a whistleblower clause says that if anybody come and blow a whistle, why are they blowing a whistle? Alarm's going off. Stop the work. Cut the machinery off. There's a problem. There's an emergency. Somebody's blowing a whistle. What do you do in a hotel if there's a fire? You pull the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Fire. Whistle. Emergency. A whistleblower is somebody who's coming to help everybody else. They're not coming to dog anybody else. They're not coming to hurt people. People, when they see a fire alarm, they pull it to make everybody else aware that there's a fire. There's a fire. That was that woman. Oh Lord, that's a fire. I ain't had no coat, no shoes, no nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. But you're helping people. For those of you who don't know, you go on YouTube, you'll find a woman who's in a news interview about a house that caught fire. Anyway, somebody who's blowing the whistle, they're coming to help everyone. You want whistleblowers. You want everybody to think like a whistleblower. You want people on the lookout for anything that they see as wrong or out of line or out of place, or that can even become potentially a problem, so that you can jump on top of it and put the fire out. You don't want that fire to ignite and then it engulfs a room and then the whole building is in flame. See, you could have nipped it in the bud. That's what Barney Fife. He said, I'm glad I had my bullet. All of you watch Andy Griffith. Team, if we have anonymity, if people can anonymously, the same way y'all give, sometimes people give reports, and I don't want nobody to know I'm giving this report. Why? Because they don't want their pastor to know that they gave reports over to the house of prayer that they're competing with, or they gave a report to a house of prayer over in another state, or they gave a report to this. Why? Because they know their pastor going, what you mean you gave them? You gave them what? How much? $3,000. Man, that could have been in our report. They know that that's what's coming. Because everybody in the organization, the house of prayer, are competing with everybody else. So they don't want that response. They don't want the retaliation. Tools like anonymous surveys or third-party platforms can facilitate this. Honest feedback. In fact, we've done an anonymous survey. And let me go ahead. I'm going to check that now. And as a result of the survey, people have been asking about it, and I've forgotten to actually share it. So instead of sharing with just those individuals, I share with everyone. And I'm not sharing any statements. I'm only sharing percentages to the questions of how people answered. And no one will know who it was that said anything or know how they answered. Okay? Well, anyway, we did a survey. Not a House of Prayer for All People integrity survey. Integrity. This survey was to evaluate the integrity of our leaders. According to the people who filled out the survey, I won't even go into numbers. It was a nice response. So the responses, the summary, here we go. Do you believe the 2023 election of A.D. Cunningham as bishop was unfair, rigged, or predetermined? Yes or no? 90. I'll let you see the percentages. I'm clicking so that you can see. And I'll erase that. But this is the percentage. Okay. This is 90. 94.6% yes. I believe it was unfair or rigged or predetermined. Yes. Were you given a genuine opportunity to express your opinion or cast a vote regarding who should lead? Let me take a picture. And let you see. The answer is no. Overwhelmingly, 92.3% said no. I was not given a genuine opportunity to express my opinion or cast a vote regarding who should lead. The question was the church that they put here. Do you believe that the United House of Prayer worships and puts ad before Jesus Christ and God himself? This one had an overwhelming response. 92.5% said yes. I believe the House of Prayer puts ad, the leader, above Jesus and God. 92%. These are all House of Prayer members, active and inactive at the moment. We have many that right now have chosen to not be active. 92.5%. Would you agree that Jesus' picture should be the picture in the middle as he is first, and that the pictures of the current and former bishops should be on the side instead of Jesus himself? Also, another overwhelming response. And blue is yes and orange is no. Okay? Jesus' picture should be in the middle. Now, again, these are just questions. Have you ever witnessed, experienced, or heard of any serious sexual assault, misconduct, or allegations by any leadership in the United House of Prayer for all people? Blue is yes, orange is no. Sexual assault or any misconduct. Have you heard of it? Overwhelmingly, many people have heard of a lot of other people being assaulted sexually or misconduct. If you were a victim of, well, that's not necessary. If you're a victim of assault by leadership, are you willing to identify and share, or would you want to remain confidential? Skip to the next. Are any of those individuals that you know committed sexual assault or harassment still holding their positions? Blue is yes, orange is no. Still holding positions. Okay? Still holding positions. Been reported, but still in positions. Do you believe that if Jesus were to see what the United House of Prayer leaders are doing to its members, that he would throw over the tables and consider it a den of thieves? Blue is yes, orange is no, yellow is maybe. They believe that Jesus would consider the House of Prayer a den of thieves. These are members of the House of Prayer. Overwhelming response, 97.5%. Do you believe the United House of Prayer for All People has mishandled, embezzled, or misused member funds in any way at all? Members' responses, 95% yes. They believe their money was misused, mishandled, or embezzled. There's comments in here. If y'all would like to hear the comments, no. Anybody that did a survey, if you want to comment or email me that you don't mind people hearing your comments, then no problem. I will come back and read them. Have you ever been forced, guilted, or peer pressured by the United House of Prayer leadership to give money, pay assessments, or cover fees regardless of your financial situation? Have you ever been peer pressured into giving money regardless of your financial situation? 87.5% says yes. I was peer pressured into giving money. Would you like to know where exactly all your offerings, tithes, and donations are going? 97.6% says yes. I would like to know where my money is going. And this is a very important question because the members don't have a clue where their money is going. And this is why, again, it's a problem. And I have maintained that the members, the General Assembly, need to do what's necessary to put the bishop on trial and remove him and these other men that's in positions of authority who has assisted him to defraud, to manipulate, and lie to the organization in all these violations. Do you support demanding that the United House of Prayer publicly release its financial statements from the past 7 years? Blue is yes, orange is no. Yes, they want to see the financial statements. Now, interestingly enough, I went online looking for about 15 minutes. And the forms that I found, for whatever reason, there's nothing there. Nothing there. So it looks like they're paying for people to cover or keep the information from being released. That was a 15-minute search. Normally, it takes nothing to get this information. These are some very powerful comments. Many, many powerful comments. Next question. Have you been promised blessings, promotions, or favor in return for your loyalty or financial contributions? Blue is yes, orange is no. Okay. 63.4% says yes, I've been promised different things for my financial contributions. After giving all of your contributions, did you end up feeling used or misled? .5% says yes. I felt used or misled after I gave my financial contributions. And a lot of comments. Do you fully understand the decisions being made in the General Assembly? And are you aware of the United House of Prayer bylaws and Are You Aware book? Blue is yes, orange is no. 69.2% says no, I do not fully understand it. Now, I'm sure they're saying either prior to the videos, I don't know, but I have not gone all the way through the Are You Aware book yet to explain it. This question was, do you fully understand the decisions being made in the General Assembly? And that's a very valid point, because even in the General Assembly, even if you have understanding of the Constitution, you may not understand the decisions that's being made. There's a split on this one, almost 50% on both. Are you aware that at least 3 major figures in the United House of Prayer were charged with financial crimes by the Department of Justice, and those members were also top contributors to the G-Class program? And this is almost a full split on this one, 50-50. Some people knew, some people didn't. That 3 major figures in the organization. A lot of comments. Okay, that looks like that's the last one. But my point is that when we have teamwork, when you have evaluations, especially leadership evaluations, let me get back to what I was reading. You're going to have increases in things positive and decreases in things negative. When you don't have evaluations, you will have increases in things negative and decreases in things positive. Another benefit to having these evaluations, especially in leadership, is the communication skills are increased. How clearly does the supervisor communicate goals and expectations? How clearly do they communicate goals and expectations in House of Prayer? The only goal and the only expectation in the House of Prayer as an entire organization, the only goal and the only expectation is to travel on different trips and to give your money. Period. 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 Anybody who knows of a goal or an objective in expectation other than traveling so that you can give money or giving money, if you know of any other expectation or goal, please correct me. Every single goal and objective in Hours of Prayer is for the purpose of raising money or giving money or getting the people's money. Every single one. Every single one. Clear communication is essential for team alignment and productivity. We do not have clear communication whatsoever in our organization. Employees or team members should understand their roles and responsibilities without ambiguity. It is very much unclear. It is very much disguised what the roles or responsibilities of everyone is. The only role or responsibility that's clear are for the people who's up in the front to get the people who's not in the front to give money. That is it. Does the supervisor encourage open communication with the team? No. Open communication is not encouraged and it's highly looked down upon, frowned on. Open communication fosters trust and collaboration. A supervisor who encourages team members to share ideas and concerns creates a more inclusive environment. And when you don't have that, then you will have individuals that are going to sometimes leave, quit, walk away. Especially those individuals who feel that their input is not valuable and there's nothing that they can do to help, to assist, to enhance anything whatsoever. Again, it's going on 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. And in the meantime, we'll come back with the next. And we're not done with the CEO's information, the 501c3. But let me close this out, and I'll see you in the next video. These two for today. I will continue on tomorrow, and I'm going to try to release them in the evenings every day before late evening, but so that there's a regular time that you can look for them. We're going to see about possibly having them posted around this time, if not earlier, every single day going from now on. I can't make promises. Sometimes in loading, it stalls. Sometimes we're having difficulty with internet or tech issues. However, we'll come back and I'll see you in the next video.